And oh, Kiyomaku, you've got it. You have got it. It is a raw mirror. So let me stop the gods here. Playing as the birds, this is Kimo in the blue and the red. Wait, wrong colors. I apologize. We'll have to do it again. Hagrit is the blue bird. Kimo is the red bird. It's great. So yeah, pretty limited scouting potential with Rao, of course. They're looking around with the Pharaoh. Each finds a relic, actually. So we got Dwarven Calipers, and we've got the Canopic Jar of Imseti. Some decent hunt finds, but I somehow think that that's not gonna play a big role. You still around, Kiyomaku? Being quiet? Guess something must have come up. Okay, no worries. Well, we've got hunting, but no. Oh, hunting dogs actually for Kimo. Okay, so he's got a lot of hunt, and he's gonna make use of that, I guess. Very interesting. We've got an early monument for Hagrid. Not for Kimo though.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if there was any Sphinx play, but I mean, you never know. It could be just Patsukas in the mid game.
If you show me Kimo's base one more time, I can probably get an idea what he's doing.
Yeah, he's got the hunting dogs and stuff. He's found a lot of hunts, so it makes a lot of sense.
So he's transitioning. He basically started to give himself options.
Yep.
And let's see. This map has so much back gold. I wonder if they're going for the 2TC strategies. The thing though is, just like similar to what I said about the Ra against Zeus, and that's a lot of idle time. That is not good. And yeah, TTC, that's very good. I love using TTC. Scarabs are very vulnerable to unbuilt buildings, so while it might sound like a good idea to Scarab rush against 2TC because you're rushing against the boom strategy, it's actually very risky, and especially against priests, it does not work that well. The interesting part, however, is if you do a really early Scarab rush, you can actually scare your opponent into making too many priests, and they are very weak to chariots, and you can get value that way and actually win the game from that point on as well. So there are options, and I am very curious to see what they're doing. Second monument. Okay.
That's very
Hagrid wants myth units.
Do you think he might go for some Sphinx raids?
No.
Because they, at their full upgrades, they can dodge beast shots.
A strategy that existed, but I don't know if it exists still, is fast mythic, 5 Sphinxes and your tornado, and eclipse and locust at the same time.
Nice, just massacre all the
Yep, it
bills.
is fun. And I've done it so many times, especially in TGs. But if it can actually work in a high level 1v1, that is a completely different question. So a more likely myth unit that he wants to make is Patsuchos or Scarabs. But I consider Scarabs very risky. So let's see if he wants to take that risk. On the other hand, Kimo, does he have a monument yet? Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
Yes,
so, and his advance time, Temple is complete, but it is. Wait a second. What is that? He's only just started now. That is so incredibly late.
Yeah,
this is an incredibly late advance.
But I think I think they know that nothing too bad can happen early on, so might as well cut out those extra villagers.
No. Advancing late is not a problem because of aggression or anything. It's actually quite the opposite. Because the earlier you advance, the better your eco. It's you lose temporary resources by advancing earlier because you have less villagers in relation to your opponent. But earlier advance time, earlier TC, earlier eco, and that way you actually get the resources back and you win. So by both of them having a very slow advance, that's actually quite dangerous. The thing is, a late advance 2TC, what Kimo is doing right now, can actually lead to a very fast heroic as well. Because of that late advance, you bank up resources. Like as I said, later advancing gives you a temporary boost of resources, but it's lost later on in the boom. So it can turn to a very quick 2TC fast heroic, but Hagrid is also going for a second TC, and they are both equally late, so kinda evens out, I guess.
And Hagrit is actually getting Shadoof as well as Plow.
Yeah,
So
I am
that's gonna be
surprised
a
to
rain
see
there.
it played out like this. Very
Whereas
slow.
Kimo is still hunting, dude. So at least that rain, Hagrid will benefit from 2 rains this game.
Yeah, everything makes sense. Kimo is on 3 TCs. Everything makes sense now.
Ah.
Yeah, the later advance in combination with the 30C makes a lot of sense. You can obviously also do a 430 or 410, build 1 TC and build the second one shortly after as well in an early advance build. But it's going to be hard to manage on the food to actually produce villages properly. So you need to have good food, and the later advance makes all of this a lot easier. And what is Hagrid going to do?
Did you hear about the pre-patch situation where rain actually increased the gather rate on wood?
Yes, I was never aware of it while I played, and I
fun.
also never used it because why would I put villagers on wood? I'm using rain, so I never found out. I never tried.
Now we know. Well, it's being patched out anyway, so.
Yeah, I'm actually sad about it because it sounds so interesting. Like
It sounds so good for Ra, yeah, right? Yes.
But yeah,
hashtag.
it would have probably needed a nerf if that was the case. Well, Ra would have needed some nerf to compensate for it because Ra is strong, and giving him that would have been a bit broken.
Maybe
yeah,
you should also
position,
pack gold and just watch the gold out of the gold mines.
I am worried for Hagrid here. He's gonna be behind in economy like a lot, and his heroic time is not early at all. Like, he is slow, and that will give Kimo a lot of time to actually set up defenses. I mean, for sure he's going to be quite a bit faster, but still. This is putting a timer on Hagrid. He has to get some damage in that fast before Kimo stabilizes on this. But Kimo only now actually starting Shadow. Very late Shadow. Very late Rain as well. He's probably going to go heroic just based on hunting. I think that's more viable and a better situation, right? Better thing to do. Because he still has quite a bit of food that he can hunt. And if he were to wait for the rain to kick in, that might be too slow. He needs heroic, and he needs it soon. So maybe an actually bigger window for Hagrid than, but only 20%.
Oh, dude, Kimo's doing what you said. That pretty fast heroic as well.
Yeah.
So
that is.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, Hagrid's one was faster, but considering that Kimo went free TC, this is not crazy to behind, actually.
The thing is, Hagrid was generally slow. Like, he was having a slow 2TC fast heroic. And while that can usually be fine, when you are against a 3TC, you're the one that has to attack. Like, you're maybe thinking, oh, I'm booming, I can just chill, I can set up, but no, you're actually the one who has to play aggressive in this position, so you cannot be slow.
Like, look at that villager differential, 54 to 40, that's nothing to scoff at, and this is gonna keep going out of control. Now Hagrid is trying to get his 3rd TC, and once they both reach the 80 villager mark, obviously, you know, that balances itself out very fast. Like, there's a cap on how much advantage you can get. The Locust is the complete whiff.
Oh.
It denies the mining, but Kimo is just gonna use this time to get up
Yeah.
his Migdol, so in the end it
That's...
doesn't affect much. That's a huge whiff and a big problem for Hagrit, because like you said, he needed to do the damage to catch up.
But there's... He finds some villages, that's gonna be some decent damage. But the rock is chasing.
Rock
No, it's
v
actually
rock,
gone the opposite
let's
way.
go.
And he flies over it. Hagrid misses the villages. Oh no. And he's
Wait.
gonna fly over the TC.
No!
Oh
Don't do
no. Oh
it.
no, Hagrid, don't do it. Please don't do it.
Dude, right into the
Oh,
priest
the
as well.
priest is waiting. Oh, this is the most sad rock.
Oh, the priest does massive damage to rocks, of course. Huge range,
no.
can't miss. And, well, Hagrid
no.
should be able to escape though, because the rock
Yeah.
is faster. But, dude, how heavily did the rock get nerfed in this? 4 speed, holy. Like, if you pre-place your units, it's gonna get sniped.
Still, it gets away. Yeah, this Kimo could have caught this rock a little bit better, but that was still quite serious. But now there's a push coming in, some chariots, some camels, but Kimo also has an army already, and the population is quite even. Of course, Kimo has a big population lead in terms of villagers, so if you like reduce 20 population from what you see, he is behind by quite a bit in army. Still, that can be totally fine because mercs have a panic button called mercenaries. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the gold for it.
Hey,
It is a button that
that's rock.
exists. Oh
Sorry
no!
to interrupt, but this rock is gonna get its life interrupted, so
Yes.
peace.
Oh no. Yeah, those Petsurus. I'm actually surprised to see Kimo fight with Miss Units against Hagrid when it was Hagrid who did the early monument start. So
Yeah,
Hagrid has 80 favor. He hasn't used any
God.
of it.
Yeah, I do want to see some pistachios.
What?
I know it's Petsukos, but it's way better. Pistachios
yeah.
just taste way better than
This
alligators.
is just reminds me of one of the basic rules of any RTS game, that eco management comes down to gathering what you need. It's not you gather and then spend, it's you decide what you want to make and you gather what you need for it. And Kimo's, Hagrid's eco reminds me of a classic case of he gathered something but actually has no plan to use it. So
Well, right now his spending has been pretty good so far, but it does seem to me that Kimo is just a little bit ahead in everything. Like he's been on 80 villagers for long, and he's winning the fight. I mean, that should not
this push
happen.
is looking strong. The camels can easily destroy the siege towers, and the siege towers are gonna go ham on this Migdol. This Migdol is probably going to go down. No villages anywhere, but there are the camels actually. The camels are coming back.
I think they might be able to save this, but maybe not the Migdol. However, they will kill so many units that it might be okay.
Yeah.
Especially if there's a counterattack after.
But losing the Migdol is not that bad because he's still on max population, but he has to build a new one quickly.
Yeah, I mean, this is thousands of resources of damage that Kimo is taking right now, and he's taking it on the chin, dude. Like, he's got stuff behind this. He's got copper mail coming in, he's got fortified town center.
And
so
now
he
Pitsurios
has
are
tools.
taking a lot of damage.
Not the pistachios.
Oh no! Yeah, they're slow, and there's Locust. Where's it castled? On the farm.
Ooh, followed by rain as well, so that Hagrid doesn't benefit as much, but
Makes
he
sense.
does have quite
Smart.
a few others. On the left side though, it's not.
But now, what are the
right now.
camels doing? There's some mercenaries by Kimo. Interesting.
They don't yet
the
have
eco is
Magi,
actually,
do they?
if you look at the eco, it's actually reached an even point. Kimo is ahead by 3 caravans, but otherwise it's very even, considering that Kimo was up 20 units.
Yeah, that's the thing with
is-
population caps and limits, that they
Yeah.
allow for catching up. And once you do, you can make anything happen, really.
Yep. The thing is, Kimo has a significant eco advantage from having had this 20 villager lead, but bad trades can lose all of that and the game can just go back to even immediately again. And Hagrid has been taking some good fights here, but Kimo is back pushing. He's cleaning up a lot of this as well. So
He's also losing a lot though.
Yeah.
Both players around 130-ish population. Kimo
But-
shooting up by 10 or so.
yeah, Kimo is definitely staying ahead in this, and Hagrit finally spent all of his favor. He's
Good.
absolutely down to 0, starting to make some Pitsukas.
Yeah, Patsukas are just so good, and they're really
Oh,
good against
no.
each other as well. Like
He has so
if
many
you-
mercenaries that just stood around, like these infantry mercs were just doing nothing for quite a bit. And they're so expensive.
Yeah, they are pretty expensive, and I think Kimo is punishing the fact that they were made by just going
Yeah.
H4. Horus is going to be a
The
great
thing-
addition to this because you can make spears and
Oh
get the greatest
no,
of 50
Kimo is
upgrades.
Horus first.
Yep.
Okay, remember what I said about implosion? It's the same logic that when you're going up to tornado, you really like to not fight because you want the enemy to have like to provide maximum value for the tornado, and you want to lure him into an area where you can do a lot of damage. And right now it looks like it's going to be. Oh what?
Oh! Maximum
Shifting
damage
sands.
right there.
So he's not gonna tornado that army, that's for sure.
No,
And
it's
the
because he had
counter-shifting
counter-shift.
sands, he's following him.
But is it enough? The Rock doing some pickup micro there to save the siege tower from the surround. And I think he'll actually get the TC down. This is not the one
Yep.
that's been researching Horus though.
But is this going to be worth it? He has killed
Wait.
quite a bit of villagers. I mean, idled them, he killed the TC, so this has done some damage, but he invested his entire army for it, which also costs a lot of resources. So this is not a cheap trade, so
No, but
is it going to pay off for him?
he will gather this back, and his Horus is actually not too far behind. As long
Yeah.
as his TCs get fortified, which they aren't. Tornado can't kill an
no,
unfortified
he
TC.
cancelled it. He moves it. He moves attack. He had fortified research, but he moved it to a different TC, I think. Yeah, there it is.
Oh no.
Smart. So the one thing this shifting sands move did is it actually slowed Kimo down a bit. He distracted him and lured his population to a different area, buying himself a bit of time. But now Horus is going to hit, and this can. Whew. This can be quite a lot of trouble.
Yeah, now
There's a big
that
gust.
they are up Horus though, Horus Spears should enter this kind
Yeah,
of engagement
Horus
because they absolutely
Spearmen-
smashed the cavalry.
Yes,
It's not even
Horus
close.
Spearmen in general are one of the strongest late game units in the entire game. They're incredibly powerful.
Yeah, now if you go Sekhmet, actually you get like the slingers with like slings of the sun and all that stuff.
To me, that's more of a meme upgrade line, but it exists.
It can be good in the fights until Magi kicks in with like a massive trade behind it. You know, it just doesn't work. Even if you
And
have
the
the
MiG is
Citadel
going to
alive.
go down. That's actually very dangerous because Hagrid is not on max population at all, and he loses one very important production building. That's trouble.
Yeah, he's not even close to it, and
Yeah,
we're still
both players
seeing
are
any-
not, but Kimo is gonna spike ahead. But there's Tornado.
It's not gonna kill the TC though. I mean, the barracks have soaked up a lot of damage already. The TC is being repaired. It's fortified. It doesn't have masons, so that is gonna cause some extra damage, but it's just about gonna survive. Oh man, imagine
Pharaoh
if that
dies
tornado, if that tornado had not gone to the barracks, it would have actually killed it.
Oh, it's like the villagers repairing saved the TC, honestly.
For sure.
Without them, it would have fallen.
Well,
But now the counter tornado, and there are no villagers around to repair it, no buildings to soak it up. But he has gotten a lot of tax.
actually, that siege works and that half-finished barracks did a little
Huh.
bit with masons as well. And
Yeah, all
sun-dried
the
brick, dude.
upgrade.
Sun-dried brick saved this TC.
It's yeah. Post tornadoes coming off just a tiny bit short, but towers are coming in. I would also really like to see some walls here. Just setting up a little cone for the catapults to sneak into, get behind the walls.
Yeah, to be
Like,
fair, it's
I
much
cannot-
easier to get it done once the towers are up, because, you know, the camels just die.
Yeah, this tower is not gonna stay up though.
Oh no,
Catapult here to ruin the day for it.
absolutely.
But look at the middle. The forest in the middle is almost completely through. This is gonna open up any moment now.
So here's what Hagrid could do with that. Leave it alone and put the catapult there.
Is that in range?
It is. It totally
Oh.
is in range.
I wanna see it.
Maybe not without engineers. It's gonna be very close. I think he might need that 2 range from engineers. But even so, the front is gonna be absolutely devastated here for Hagrid. Like, what's he gonna do? Once the catapult pops out for Kimo, can he really hold this? I'm doubting it.
Yeah, Hagrid's population is not looking healthy, and his economy behind it also is not.
No, and
He's
if
behind the villagers, behind the caravans, and his eco is low. Behind the population, and probably also behind in upgrades. And the towers are creeping forward. They are gonna be in range, and when they start reaching the TC, then trouble is gonna hit.
By the way, Hagrid's trait has not been empowered all game. So that is part of why his eco is so bad. Even though the caravans have a really good carry amount, like 83 versus 50 something, Kimo does have his empowered, so he still gets like a 15% bonus. It's pretty similar in the end.
Yeah, the catapults are steadily working on this TC. But there's no wall protecting it, so Camel sneaks through, but only gets to hit it a few times.
Yeah, now there's gonna be 3 catapults. That's just the
just
game
imagine a
around.
small box of walls around this catapult. Nothing would be able to touch it.
Towers are guard towers now, and they have kind of ranges to Sundried.
They are gonna bring the pain. And now there's 3 catapults. This TC is dead. I don't see it being saved. He still hasn't upgraded his catapults, but still, that's gonna hurt. And the camels are looking for a catapult of his own. And now, with that TC being down, his trade economy is interrupted, and he does not really have anything left. Like, his economy is in shambles, his population is low. And while he's attacking the middle town center, I don't think Kimo can lose this one at this point.
No, that could have been a play, but he ended up cutting through it anyways, so.
GG to game 1.
Yeah, that was a little rough. You know, I want to actually say this was surprisingly close. And honestly, Kimo just had a little bit of a better late game transition, and it really paid dividends here.
He also had a very strong eco start, and
True.
Hagrid did not manage to do enough damage to punish it.
Yeah, there's
To
like
be fair, he had
10%
some
more
good
eco
trade,
here.
but yeah. Let me see the stats. 1 second. I need to full screen it. Yeah, that's the eco lead I told you about, and he has to get the trades to equalize. And he did get some very good cleanups. Like when he lost, when Kimo lost the fight at the Migdol, he did kill the Migdol, but when it comes to actual unit trades, the Migdol is just 400 gold in some favor.
So this is what's happening. Hagrid is actually going for Isis there. Oh, what? How did I switch that? On the other side, playing in the red, Kimo. He's sticking with his guns. Whoa. Apologies for the mess up. Well, what do you think about the Isis versus Ra matchup? It's gonna be hard not to be able to cast God powers.
Yeah, my opinions on this matchups are unsure at the moment. Back then, before all of these balance patches, I would say Isis wins very, very convincingly. But lots of changes, so hard to say. Ra has a lot going for him. He has a much stronger late game, so for Isis it's going to be all about getting that early lead, that damage, that map control, and snowballing that into a win. And for Ra, it's going to be preventing all of that. So,
Yeah.
but Ra can also play aggressive, so it's not like Ra is doomed to be the defender. He can do so many things. He can pull out so many tricks, and it's gonna be up to Kimo to decide what he wants to do and how he wants to play this.
Yeah, at least
And
you've
looking
got
at the
stuff
map,
like shifting sands, you know, you can maybe
yeah,
get that working. Even aggressively shifting when there's no monument protection, so
you
this
can do
definitely plays with
priest
that.
aggression, shifting stance, like denying hunt, like just doing Pharaoh plus priest, because the thing is, Isis cannot win these because you have shifting sands. He has to commit a monument to protect outside hunt, which is a serious investment. So if he's going to like build his first monument outside to protect that, then he won't have one at his base either. So he can just he can't really fight, because if he makes priests to counter the aggression, they get shifted and they die, and that's a lot of resources. So Ra can actually contest outside hunt quite a bit, but at the same time that's also a risk for Ra, because if Isis manages to just fall back safely without taking too much damage and go heroic, then you just slowed your own strategy, and a quick fast heroic can be very troublesome, and priests are well good against the Eclipse, not enough because chariots exist, and we will see. So far we have a high hunt strategy start for Kimo, but his food just ran out and he has to move, but he is already advancing to Ptah. That's a very early, at 4 minutes, and he is moving forward. He's gonna probably grab that TC. It's
Yeah,
unclear. He can also go with his goldies, but he has the option right now to build the TC with his hunters. But while it sounds nice, I would probably move the goldies here, because he needs the food to actually produce villages, and so it would be awkward, because if he actually decides to build with his hunters, he has to move his gold villages to a different resource, so he can actually sustain production. So we're more likely to see that. But on the other hand, Hagrid, what is he doing? What is his build order like? Did he grab Flood of the Nile? Is he gonna go
he
for
did,
it?
he did. And actually, there's a really interesting relic here, the Pygmalion statue. So should Hagrid find that and pick that up, shifting his villagers away will be actually limited a lot compared to what could be done without it. But it's a matter of finding it in the first place. So I don't know if he will. But then again, a lot of people are saying stuff like, you know, it's probably better to just shift aggressively onto the villagers, as you can probably get in more damage. But that Pharaoh kills the villager all by himself. Holy. He's got Hands of the Pharaoh, by the way.
Yeah, looks like Kimo decided to go for the aggressive play, denying hunt, just scouting, dealing some damage. But what's he gonna do behind it? At the moment, he's not going for a TC, but he's saving the resources up, so it's definitely going to be a second TC afterwards. That's for sure.
Yeah, it seems like Hagrid is just looking for... I would say this is just a fast heroic.
Yeah, that's definitely the plan for Isis. Like what most Isis players did back then was a fast heroic, and they would push instantly. But I think much better is to build a Migdol, build a second TC, and then the max on that, because Isis has so much gold and prosperity, and the TC basically only costs gold anyways. So by going heroic first, building Migdol first, you establish your military, and then immediately afterwards you establish your economy. So while it's usually you on a timer to actually push your opponent, because you probably face a 2TC, suddenly your eco is actually starting up, and Egi has insane late game, so the pressure is suddenly off. You are behind in eco by a bit, but Ancestor Eclipse can equalize that, so there's a lot of room for potential to do something with it, and the most important part of all of that is map control. with the answer to Eclipse as a threat, you can take fights and take areas to actually go into a 3 or 4 TC situation against your opponent, but he cannot take the TC because if he goes for it, he's gonna be vulnerable to an AE push. So there's a lot of threat for going for all of these things, and there's Prosperity. Let's see. Neftis is cute, 20% done. So that's an early fast heroic.
Yeah, for sure. The Sphinx
But-
hasn't been able to do much because everywhere he goes, he's met with a with a priest, of course. So that's kind of
Oh, the
expected.
Pharaoh finding hunters.
Oh, again, nice.
Yeah.
Still
And the
carrying that
Sphinx also
relic.
doing some decent work, but it's gonna have to leave.
Yeah,
The
it
one
doesn't
thing
have
that
enough speed actually. Like 5.3 speed is not enough. Priests have 6 track rating, so they're gonna hit them easily. You need both upgrades in order to be able to avoid that.
Yeah. And now I hope Hagrid starts moving his goldies because you want to build the Mictol as soon as possible, and he is off. He is moving to the left, so he is gonna secure the left side with that Mictol. For me, it's always important to build that Mictol basically the second you reach Heroic Age, because it's all about unlocking the Mictol to actually go to Heroic Age. So you're only really in Heroic Age the moment the Mictol is started. So any
By
second
the way,
delay on that is basically a delay on the Heroic Age itself.
oh no, that Scorpion Man is absolutely getting wrecked,
Oh,
and there's a shift on the
no.
priest, so that is gonna do a lot of damage to them. I think one of them will die. The other one should be able
Very
to get away.
interesting usage.
Yeah, one gets away.
No, yeah, one lives. That was close.
So, quick question. How
Yes.
do you feel about early ancestors in Eclipse?
Against Ra? No, don't do it. The thing is, other civs usually don't have the tower upgrade and are usually more spread out. That means they have outside hunters, etc. that you can target. In this case, it's hard to find them. Kimo had some, but for the most part, you're going to have to deal with priests, pharaoh, etc. So
Yeah, I suppose even
much
if you
less
tried it
value.
on the gold mine, you know, there's arrow fire, there's priests, there's pharaoh.
And also, the thing is, you have to get big value because as Isis, you have to beat Ra in the mid game to transition into a superior late game. Otherwise, you're gonna have trouble. So if you throw away Ancestor Eclipse, you throw away your Joker. You lose that one thing that threatens Ra, and without it, you have slower units that are just weaker in every way, and a weaker economy, and a weaker late game, and there's just not much hope for you.
Yeah, honestly, Kimo is so compact right now. We really should be seeing some raids with those chariots, but
Yeah.
if he stays so protected and Hagrit doesn't get some villager kills soon, the 2 TC advantage will once again come into play. The Migdol is coming up, and if
Yep.
empowered, that can actually generate the units quite a bit faster. It can be just a priest empowering it, it's totally fine.
And
Isis does
some
not have
units
that
flooding
option.
in. The problem about all of this right now, though, is that he needs, like, he needs to have a serious amount of units to actually push here. So, by not going for a second TC yet, he is putting himself on the timer I talked about earlier. He's not fully utilizing the map control. Like, imagine that front TC, Kimo's third TC. Imagine he used his map control to secure that, placed a market in the corner, and just said, hey, come to me. I have Ancestor Eclipse, push through my defense. Then suddenly Kimo has trouble because while he has a better economy, it won't be for long because he will get supply capped and Isis will just sit on the 160 plus supply, but he's stuck to 140. And that can lead to trouble, and he can't just go Mythic and Tornado it because Monuments, and Isis can also just go Mythic as well. But
Yeah, very
Hagrid has
true.
chosen a strategy. He's going for 1 TC play, a Siege Tower coming in, and there's Rain.
Oh, that is interesting. Now, actually, while this is all going on, what would you think about this? You know, you'll eventually see Mythic here, and Kimo is only used his Shifting Sands on Free Priest. What if you keep it for Son of Osiris?
Um,
Is that common? Like,
saving for Son of Osiris is a thing,
You're kind of
But
supposed to obviously have it in monument range, but
for my
it
experience,
might be doable.
ISIS players can be extremely sneaky about it with monuments, so you can save it, but if you're saving it, it basically just means that your opponent is gonna be very sneaky with Son of Osiris usage. But so many villagers for Kimo are dying, like he is sacrificing so much to defend this.
That was half his lead, by the way, so
Yeah.
that's actually pretty
So
important.
right
And there's
now
nothing
he's
here
down
to
to
kill him.
a 7 villager lead only, and his eco is actually really low. So, and now the scariest part about all of this is, at the start of the fight when he reigned, he had 1 siege tower. Now he has 3. He has 3 siege towers, and Ancestors kicking in. But 4 priests, 1 pet, 1 gadget, and pets are insanely good at dealing with Ancestors. Like, they are insanely strong. Look at that anti-myth unit damage. So, that Ancestor is cleaned up, and now the only thing left is a few siege towers. And they will not... Actually, I do not agree with him pushing out the siege towers, because if he had run away faster, they wouldn't have actually taken damage, and he would have just endangered his villagers. But so many chariots behind it.
We've still
I
got
guess
the
he's
idle
just
time on the
gonna...
villas.
I guess he's just happy to trade these and get the chariots behind it as well.
Oof, but here's the thing, the raw ones are faster, so Kimo can just click ahead and keep picking
Yep.
these off, so...
And
that's a
they
problem.
are not fast enough to dodge, so
No.
this is actually very bad for Karagrit now. That push did not go the way he wanted it. He did not even get to touch the Migdor. Like, his siege towers destroyed a siege workshop. That thing cost 75 gold on Wobbly, I think? Or is it only on EE? I'm not sure.
What's that? Could you repeat?
The siege workshop, the cost was changed on EE, but I'm not sure if it was also changed on...
Apparently not, it's still 25.
Yeah, so he really didn't destroy anything. That push, he did a lot of damage on the gold village at the start, but once he actually committed with AE, Kimo just went up in population. He didn't really lose much.
But here's the thing, the gold villagers are still fighting.
Yeah,
this
and
whole time,
now
they're the front line.
the bad part is Kimo is still on 2 TCs. His economy is skyrocketing up. The lead is increasing and increasing. And he has so many chariots, and Hagrit is down to 80 population against 110.
True, but he's closed in the gap a lot. Like, the villager differences were greater when this all started. And even
Yeah,
if
but
Kimo
it's rising
gets a DC
again.
up, like,
It was down to 7, now it's back to 15. So, oh, Kimo has to micro here. The siege towers up, and all the chariots are low HP. Look at that HP. He
no, they
has
gotta
to
leave.
go. Yeah, he has to heal them. Oh no.
I think he can kill this DC, man.
Yeah.
That's enough
That's
for 2
a
Mercap.
lot. I wouldn't chase those towers again. What he can do is just camp in the TC and jump out when they reach. But again, I guess he's just relying on his chariots to push them back so they don't actually fight back, but still, now the villagers are going to get picked off.
Even the polar bear joining in to help. Kimo still does have Locust, and Hagrit is not really protected at his gold mines. Obviously, there's a bigger gold mine for him. But I do wonder when he's gonna look to get TCs, because he's still not got the resources for it. He's not got a heavy enough gold economy, nor is he empowering right now, so that is definitely not great.
Yeah. He's in a very bad spot. And his economy is completely in shambles at the moment. And his Pharaoh is not doing anything. Like, his Pharaoh is idle his gold mine.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And he's gathering berries next to Kimo's gold. Look at that.
Call a berry picker.
Oh no. Yeah, I can only say my brother would have played this with the second TC strategy that I talked about, and he would have put the pressure on Kimo to play aggressive and maybe pushed at 130, but the thing about this is also, he did so much damage at the start of this, like before AE. I wonder if he just had fallen back, and there's a Locust. Oh no. Doesn't actually really kill anything, but it's still something. And anything at this point is gonna hurt so much.
Yeah, Kimo's up by 20 villagers. He's producing 3
Yeah.
villagers for 1, so every single pickoff is just putting him further and further ahead. He's about to cap out though. So Hagrit will be catching up after that, but with all the chariots dead, that's a bit tough.
Yeah, when you look at this, to be honest, Kimo can just raid him. Siege towers are slow. Just ignore them. Go into the eco, kill the villagers. That's what I would do here. And where's the mythic? Kimo should be looking for mythic, and he is. He's on 700, 600 soon. Yeah, that economy is gonna be mythic soon. He's also on 145, 145.
Oh, he's probably gonna go Osiris with this one though, right? Just such a good unit to help against the siege towers, I guess.
Actually, Tornado is not a bad pick at all here.
But how is
Because
he
all
gonna...
he needs is
What's
that
he
one
gonna
little
tornado?
extra, and that is.
Okay. We're not gonna see it.
Yep. So,
Well, Hagrid still got a bronze match to go, so
Yep.
we're gonna be
are we
up
covering
against
that
next.
first or?
Yes.
Okay. So Hagrid against Soup next. Whew. So Hagrid didn't play Greek at all. Only Egyptian.